Hello, everybody. It's July 9th, 2024, and we're still under the oppressive regime of the deep state and who they're playing puppet, Joe Biden and Barry Santoro, aka Obama. And right now they're getting ready to push in. This isn't about politics right now, but it's just about what's going on in the world. So I'll touch on real quick. Their plan, the deep state, when I say they or there or whatever, is to get Kamala Harris in power, get Biden out of there, get Kamala in there, and then they want to hopefully bring in Michelle Obama, and then somehow, some way, slide Hillary Clinton in there, which is fucking insane if you think about it. Honestly, if you get down to it, I don't believe any of those people have any power anymore at all. They're playing a play, basically, to wake people up, to wake up the rest of the masses that are still sleeping. And there's still a lot of fucking people sleeping right now. I've been watching over the last 10, 12, 15 years now. Back then, I was talking about, they're planning on spraying the skies. They're planning on hurting us with shots. GMOs are bad for you, all this stuff. And people look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you crazy? What? And over the years, you see it slowly but surely, more and more people. And now it's 50-50 or even 70-30. People are more aware now than they've ever been that I'm aware of. So it's beautiful to see. However, we need to keep on that game of waking people up and keeping doing our work, our inner work and our outer work. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? This is how you heal. It's not that complex to get down to. All right, here's a body. It's made of matter created by thoughts and emotions. Okay, well, what are the quality of the thoughts, emotions, and the matter? It all matters. Good water, good food, good air, good thoughts, good emotions. And when I say good, I don't mean butterflies, rainbows, everything's perfect. I mean, if you have a negative thought, you acknowledge it, look at it, and say, oh, okay, I can do this instead. You transmute. So you're always aiming to be the best you can be, have the best you can have in terms of feeling and health and quality of life. Their plan, again, is to get Hillary and then just completely destroy the country, which, really they're already doing it, but it's a lot slower than it would have been if Hillary was in power instead of Trump back in 2020. Many of us wouldn't be here to talk right now. It would have been nuclear war. They've already said that. Trump has gone out and said that. But apparently there's been some kind of documents or emails through WikiLeaks or something else proving that she was planning on having a nuclear war with North Korea, and we would have lost. That was the agenda. Obviously, if our country is ran by healthy, balanced people, nobody's going to win a war against us. But we're ran by corrupt people who want us to lose, so they've been destroying the military, destroying our health, destroying our education, destroying the legal system, destroying the education system. They've been slowly corroding all of it. And now we're at this point now, July 9th, 2024, and everything's pretty much ass backwards. I feel like when I'm in a bubble driving around down the street, I'm looking at things, I'm like, man, that's fucked up, that's wrong, that's, not to be too negative, but literally, think about it. We're putting 5G weapons outside of every school you drive by. Every public school I drive by right now, or travel by, depends on what I'm doing, there's a 5G tower out there. Irrefutable fact that tower is harmful to the health of everything around it. Anything that's got water in it, which is all life, is negatively affected by 60 gigahertz sideband frequencies. It gives the wrong twist. It's like shaking up your water in your body, more subtle than that, but shaking it up to the point that it's not dividing correctly, which then is cancer, because it divides incorrectly and you get tumors and all that other garbage. 5G towers everywhere. The power lines we have everywhere. The high tension lines. We never needed to do that. You go back 200 years, we had atmospheric power in every building around. And again, You would know that if the history wasn't manipulated by these out of balance egos, these criminals. They manipulated the history because if we look back in the day at our books and says, whoa, wait a minute, here's a fractal antenna on top of the roof of this church or whatever the building was, and it feels really good in there. I walk in there, I feel energized, I'm in a good mood, I just feel great. Or when I'm around it outside. And then the bells, the church bells, we had bells everywhere, ringing all day long, structuring the energy of our community. Now we have 5G and power and Wi-Fi and power lines, and the bells are gone. And a church that was down the street from my house I grew up in, I almost said school because it was right down the street from my school too, but it wasn't the school I went to. The church literally had a recording for the bells, and you'd hear every Sunday especially, but every time the bells would come on, at the very end it would be like a real beautiful, not even beautiful, but it's trying to sound like a beautiful ring. It's like ding, and then like somebody took the needle off the record. And I'm like, wait, what the hell was that? The first time when I first moved in there, I was probably 7 years old, and I'm listening. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. We have church bells. And then all of a sudden it went, I'm like, oh shit, it's a recording. And that's not going to help your health. It was probably recorded in 440 hertz, which is, again, shaking up the water of your body. This isn't water. This is H3O. This is the best stuff you can put in your body, is organic juice. This is a place local to me. I don't know if you're in the area, but they're awesome. And no, I don't get sponsored. I actually sponsor them. I support them because I buy the good juices for all my employees and my family, because it's medicine. Every time you drink this juice, you're healing your body. And it tastes delicious. So our society's ass backwards. That's why when Trump came into office, and it's not about Trump, it's about somebody telling you the truth. His inauguration was, this is the give back power to the people, to you the people. And he laid it all out, what's wrong. But back then, most people still weren't awake yet, and they looked at him like he's crazy. And the people who are brainwashed, and still are brainwashed to this day, a lot of them, they would completely lash out because the TV box told them to. And again, no judgment to any of you, but let's be realistic. This is an adult conversation. If somebody gets on your TV box and tells you, hey, go to this parking lot down the street and let some jackass stick a needle in your arm, don't do it. From now on, please, wake up. If you did it, you did it. There's ways to undo it, so you don't need to be... A lot of people I come across, actually, they're so mortified that they did it that they can't grasp their own mortality, and they literally deny it. They'll say like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, it's not bad. Because if they admit it's bad, then all of a sudden their body's breaking down. They acknowledge it. You don't need to fear this. There are so many ways to get rid of that stuff, get it out of your body. And I hear, again, I've said this in my videos in the past, every cell in your body is brand new within a year, give or take. You know, some people are healthier, so it's faster. Some people are less healthy and it's slower. And depending on how you, like me, I'm every day I'm out in the world with which most men out. I can't even say most men or women, really. A lot of people, a lot of you are out here, men and women, busting your ass out in the elements. Our bodies get beat up faster. You know, you might pinch a disc, you might hurt your elbow, you might stub your toe, whatever. Your body has to recoup faster. You know, I'm out, you know, I got cut. I probably got a cut on my hand somewhere. I just got a little cut today. I didn't even know I had it. But who knows? There's always a cut, scrape, bruise, or whatever. So your body's turning over faster, which is not great because you do wear your telomeres down faster. However, you can rebuild those telomeres as well. What they tell us is aging. We can undo that. So the whole point of this is you can heal everything that you've done. The point is acknowledging it and then being an adult and saying, okay, I'm going to do better now. I'm going to get better now. And you don't have to do that. But please, for crying out loud, don't deny reality. Acknowledge it at least. You don't have to change it. You can, you know, fall apart and crumble if you want. But at least acknowledge it. You know, be real with yourself. Don't just deny it because you're afraid. I don't think that's a healthy way to live. But again, that's my perspective. perspective. It's been a long day. I've just pulled in my driveway getting ready to go shower. So, no more needles in the arm from strangers in parking lots. That should have been, we should have had that grasped by now, but, you know, no more of these synthetics. If you want to be healthy, get rid of synthetics. Get rid of the LED lights in your house. If, for example, find a way to, I mean, your phone might do this.
I'm offline, so I can't do that. In the meantime, you can get directions, make calls, and play radio.
What the fuck? My truck is talking to me and I didn't hit any buttons at all. It's been doing that the last 2 weeks. You can film your lights in your house or even your computer screen and you'll see it flickering and acting funny on the camera. It's because of the flicker rate. Your LED lights in your house are flashing non-stop. And just because the way our brains work and our eyes work, we perceive it as a solid light. Just like when you're watching a movie. It's not a continuous stream, it's a bunch of images. That's how our reality works too. We're not living, what's the word for it? It's not a continuous flow, if you will. It's more of a flicker on and off, on and off, on and off, 22 trillion times a second. At least that's what Cliff High says and a lot of other people. And I do know that it does flicker, but I don't know the extra number. I didn't count 22 trillion times in 1 second. Anyway, going back to what this is about, the answers to your health are all within you. Get back to nature. Get back to God, source, the creator. Whatever word you want to use. It's what you are, what we all are within. If you reach outside yourself for stuff and answers, you're going to get led astray eventually. That's how it works. Go within and find the answer. What feels right? What resonates in my heart? Does it resonate in my heart to be afraid of I'm not even going to use the word now because I'll probably pull the video, but there's a new a flu out there that they're talking about for the guys that go like this. And they flap and then they fly. So it's just an excuse to get rid of all the food that people eat right now. And the next one, it'll be the moo and everybody else. So they're literally trying to give you fear so you can attack your own food supply and then attack your own body by going to them to get injections in parking lots from strangers, which is just, you know. And I don't mean to be, I'm not laughing at it. It's more of if I don't laugh about it jokingly, I'm going to cry, because look at the excessive death rates in the country right now and the world. Look at how many kids are abducted in this country. I think it was like 460,000 a year. I just heard today or yesterday. What? The only excuse, no, there is no excuse, but the only answer to that is there is a industrial scale or military scale operation to harvest children. That's the only way. You don't misplace 460,000 every year. You just can't. Yes, there are some really messed up parents out there. Adults who've reproduced, I should say. I wouldn't even call them parents. There's a lot of them out there, especially in the society we live in, while we're poisoned by every angle. Our education's a disaster. We're being taught lies. Our history's been taken from us. Our true spiritual knowledge has been veiled to a point that most people walk around thinking that there's no creator. Or a lot of people think that. I know many of them that just, no, there's no creator. This all just happened. It's an accident. You're an ape that evolved from pond scum randomly in a blue marble rocketing through infinite space. And there was, for a while, I did believe that, because I know how good they are at spinning and spelling, casting spells on our consciousness. They're very good at it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's remarkable what we can fall for, how quick and easy. And we've all been lied to. I've been lied to many times, and I've seen things and I believed them, and I said, wow, that's got to be real. And then you dig deeper and you're like, oh, no, that's not real. So that's why I always tell everybody, question me too. Don't just hear what I say and do exactly what I say. Use my work as an example and then study yourself and say, okay, well, you know what? I like what he said here, but not here. And then dig deeper on that and see why you didn't like it, because it's pulling up a lesson for you. And you can cure, nah, we can't use that word. Curing is like for meats anyway. You know, they cure meats. So I'd say we can reharmonize or harmonize. We could harmonize everything. Even that word, though, is funny. Harmonize, monize, harmonize. That sounds like harming for money. That's what those, if you break it up into two words, so we got to come up with a better one. But basically, what I'm saying is you can help yourself feel good and be aligned with source and flower, really just grow and feel beautiful all the time. And we deserve that. So it's up to you to decide that you deserve it and act accordingly. A lot of people right now are talking about July 15th to 16th, something big coming out. Cliff High did a video on it, and then the remote viewing guys did it. Dick Allgaier and a couple other guys. Future Forecasting, I think, is their channel. And they do good work. I've seen some of them, and remote viewing does work if you do it properly. But there are a lot of front loading in our life today, because most of us are on social media looking shit up. So the best remote viewer would be somebody in a cave that does not know anything about what's going on out here, because they can truly open and see without judging and front loading. But in the world that we live in, we're doing the best we can. A lot of them are saying something big is going to happen on the 15th. Some big shock, and then a release language, they call it. Basically, it's, say, Trump comes out and shows you irrefutable proof that the Federal Reserve Bank has been stealing all your wealth for generations now. And then he says, you know, that's the shock. Everyone's like, oh, holy shit, the people that didn't know this are like, wait, what? We're being robbed? How? And then he says, but it's okay. We're going to reimburse people accordingly. You don't have to pay income tax anymore. No more property tax. None of those taxes. And we're going to do tariffs to fund the government. And by the way, the government needs to shrink because it's so inflamed, because it's infected with parasitical beings, just like our bodies and our everything. I made a video about this in the past. Look up how parasites work and why they work. A parasite is designed to attack something that's out of balance. So if this is balanced and you're starting to lean just a little bit, you're now conducive for a parasite to grow. Once a parasite starts to grow even more and multiply, it can either put you more out of balance, or you can heal the original imbalance where the parasites can no longer survive in your body and you come back to homeostasis or balance. That's basically the easiest way I can put it. Parasites are opportunists. If your body is not where it needs to be, parasites will start to grow, and when they grow, they multiply, which brings you more out of balance. So basically, it's like it's an incentive, really. So again, I wouldn't be mad at the parasites or the politicians, because they're parasites too, most of them. Poly means many, and a tick is a blood-sucking parasite. So politician, they're parasites. They're feeding off of our ignorance, because we're working ourselves to death to pay the Federal Reserve Bank our mortgages money back, which was our money that we borrowed from ourselves. They borrowed it from our trust accounts and loaned it to us at interest, which is technically illegal. It's fraud. They told us they were loaning us their money, not our money. So that's fraud. It's basically the same thing. They're parasitically attacking us because we allowed them to. We said, oh yeah, we don't need gold-backed currency. Let's go to fiat. That's fine. Back in 1971. Or you go all the way back to 1913, where they redid everything and changed the Constitution, or 1871, they changed the Constitution, and they created the Federal Reserve Bank 1913, and it's a whole long story, but do your research and you'll see it. It's, like I said, the whole big system of corruption can be equated to parasites. There's a parasitic invasion in our bodies and our societies, because as above, so below, as within, so without. So what's going on in you is reflecting outside of you. So you can see it and say, oh, I got to deal with that. City, state, local, and federal are all infiltrated. The federal is probably the most infiltrated, and then I'd say the state, and then local. And it's systemic. I see local. I know a lot of local people around here that work in politics, and either they're all good liars, but either they're really fucking good at lying, or they don't know what's really going on. Because I'm pretty good at sensing when someone's lying, and I just talked to one yesterday. Had no clue about glyphosate and Roundup. Had no clue about geoengineering. Had no clue what the 5G towers were actually doing. And these are people in places of power who make decisions and make these things happen. And they don't know. Or they really know and they're corrupt and they've sold their soul. Either way, they don't deserve their place of power. And that's going to be something we're going to be dealing with pretty soon here in terms of getting people who are ready, who know what's going on, to be leading us. We need leaders that are, for now, because at the end of the day, when the society's balanced, you don't really need leaders. We're all our own leaders. Everyone walks around with their own weapons, their own knowledge, their own open heart of love, if they choose to, and they live their life accordingly. You don't need somebody else saying, nope, you can't do that. Ooh, you can't do that. That's only in an imbalanced society where you have a bunch of ignorant people walking around who will hurt themselves, so you need government, an excuse for government. So the whole thing, you have to hit all angles. It's got to be a holistic approach to solve these problems. If anyone goes out there and says, hey, we're going to solve the inflation problem and fix the economy and do all this, but they don't say get rid of the Federal Reserve, it's never going to work. It'll always go back. If you keep the parasites in your body, they're always going to come back and haunt you. They're always going to grow and reproduce. You have to get rid of them completely. When you do a parasite cleanse, you hit it from all angles, inside and outside the body and in the mind. Literally, you think about it and you believe that you're healing these bugs. You're healing yourself so these bugs cannot survive. Then you're taking the herbs to cleanse the body. You stop eating the junk food that they grow on, a lot of the sugars, any of the GMOs. You don't use any synthetics on your body because that changes your frequency. It makes you more susceptible to bugs. You don't wear a muzzle. You don't get injections from criminals. I mean, I was going to say something much worse, but they're full-blown criminals if they tell you, you know what? Don't worry about eating McDonald's and all the fast food and all the GMOs and all the synthetic Lysol cleaners and all that. Don't worry about that. Just take a needle in your arm. We'll make you feel good. Hold on. What happened to the last 100 years of going to the doctor and they say, well, we got to get this dosage right for you. Make sure nobody else takes these pills because they may not work in their bodies. And now all of a sudden it's one size fits all, give everybody the same exact shot. You can see who's who and what they're doing. If they're saying that to you, they're full of shit and you need to get away from them as fast as you can. Call them out first, but get away from them. And that's the same thing with the economy. Health, economy, it's the same damn thing. There's parasites infesting something, then it gets inflamed. Once it's inflamed, it's out of balance and it craves more money, more food, more snacks. It's a craving. Government's so big and inflamed right now, it craves more money, so they're trying to raise more tax dollars from you because you're driving an electric car now. They said, oh, we got to get charge the gas drivers. That didn't work. Now they're going to try to charge the electric people too. And if you're driving an electric car right now, I would seriously check your hormones and do a electro smog meter in your car and see how much pollution you're getting in that car, frequency pollution, because it's like being next to a microwave oven. And if you've ever tested a microwave oven, that's something you don't want to be by, because again, your water literally shakes up and becomes unhealthy. What else did I want to touch on today? The 15-16 thing, again, it's nothing to be worried about. A lot of people are talking about it, which may mean it's nothing, it's not going to happen. But they did remote view something happening, and it may be the fact that they talked about it happening, and now that most people are talking about it, that was what they remote viewed. So it could be nothing. Could be something really big. I don't know. I'm not here to frighten anybody or, say the end of the world or something. It's simply live in the present as good as you can now, every day, every second. Do your best right now. And also have some energy reserves around you. Think of like a river. When a river's cruising down land, a lot of times they have eddies, little flows of water, little pools of water off to the side. When the water in the river gets too low, those pools dump back into the river to help the flow keep going, because that charge brings life. So the idea is to keep that river flowing, so you have little ponds and lakes and little eddies around to back that flow up. Same thing with your life. Okay, well, I need to eat food right now still, because I haven't completely cleansed my body to the point where I can live off of just my kundalini, my chi. We can, but right now I'm choosing not to. So I need food around, I need water around, I need juice around, so I have a little bit extra around me. No, I'm not going to buy all the juices from the shelf so somebody else can't have any. I'm buying enough for me to get by for a little while, and I'll be good. Same thing with food, money, fuel, anything, medical supplies, books. I have books on how to heal the body naturally. You know, the right plants to use, how to make a tourniquet, how to do all these things, just in case. And no, I don't live in, I live pretty much free of fear, but I'm aware. I see things and I say, okay, well, you know, if you see a big puddle coming up, you're not going to just purposely step in it. You're going to say, oh, I see a puddle, I'm going to go around it. So if I see something happening like inflation's going to get higher and things are going to be more expensive, so whatever I use, I buy a little extra right now so I don't spend more later. It's just simple things like that. You guys know this. You're brilliant. And if you're watching my channel, I do appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time, because I heard this on Instagram a few times, and a lot of people are saying this right now. If I were to give you $10 million right now, but the catch is you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you take it? Most people say no. How about $100 million? If I give you $100 million today, and you don't wake up tomorrow, would you do it? Fuck no. Which tells me one day is worth way more than $100 million to me. It's priceless. Your time is the most valuable thing we have right now. Well, your spirit, your soul is the most valuable thing. But in terms of physical reality, your time here is the most valuable thing. You can't get more of it. You know, you can't buy more of it. So you actually took the time to sit here and listen to me for 30 minutes talking to my truck after work. That's awesome. It really is. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it was beneficial and a good investment in yourself with your time. I love you all. Please be well and keep doing good. We're changing the world for the better. It's going to get much better, but as I've been saying for a while, it's still got to get more bumpy for people to wake up. The trick is not minding the bumps and making your way through. So, love you guys. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon.